everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Super Paranormal Chronicles. Tonight, I am more than delighted. We've been having some fun off camera. I would like you to all meet JJ Rose. She's a metaphysical teacher, lightworker, energy and entity cleaner, and white witch. JJ, hi, welcome.
Hi. Thanks, Lee. How are you?
Oh, fabulous. Just for the record, I've now put the fan on that we were talking about, so we're good.
I concur.
So, for all those that don't know, because I forgot to do it at the beginning, because I'm all flustered, I'm talking to JJ. My name's Lee. I'm your host, and tonight we have got a fantastic episode for you. We are going to be talking about astral projection. I've done some housework, and I'm going to see if JJ says she's not judgy. So we'll see. We'll see. So, how's your day been, JJ?
So far, so good.
Good. And whereabouts are you exactly?
I'm in California.
Where it's always hot and you don't get any snow.
No snow. I live in the most temperate climate pretty much on the planet, which is fantastic. We don't have a lot of weather. It's wonderful. I love it.
And the reason why we live in Canada, we get the best of both worlds. We get hot summers, we get cold winters, and we don't have animals that try to kill you. Apart from the polar bear, the brown bear.
I mean, that's pretty smart. I feed everything, so even if it wanted to kill me, I kept it fed. So I feed all the feral wildlife.
There you go. Okay, so we do have a couple of subjects that we want to talk about tonight, but first, I would like you to just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into what you're doing, and then we'll take it from there, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I have been sixth sense open my entire life. I was born like this. I come from a long line on both sides of people who are very, whatever word you want to call it, spiritual, psychically open, etc. That really helped me because I don't know what it's like to not be like this, which is helpful in one way because I'm very confident at what I do. And I've had a lot of people there to really guide me through the process. And so I've pretty much been doing this work all my life, one way or another. I was not raised with the word no or can't. Well, I was raised with the word no. I was probably told that a lot, but I would fight it. But I wasn't raised with the word can't. So it's not really in my being, in my vocabulary. So for me, when I hear people think, oh, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, I'm like, well, why not? Everyone can. It's just a matter of either learning it or trying it. And with everything, there are always do's and don'ts and things you want to probably be aware of. So that's really why I created my YouTube channel. This is not my full-time work. I don't do this for a living. I am the end of my line, pretty much. I don't have human children that I birthed. And so I really just wanted to give something back to the world and to share all the wonderful knowledge that I've been given.
And that sounds like a really fun childhood and upbringing. The fact that you're surrounded by people that are of similar faith, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay, so
I've met a lot of fun people along the way.
So. Oh, I can imagine. So, do you have any mediumistic kind of skills as well, or?
Yes. When it comes to, I think the kids are calling it the clairs now. I am all of them. So technically I am, and I have a list because I'll always forget something because I'm just so used to it. Psychic, past, present, future, precog, retrocognition, mediumship, seeing, speaking, hearing the dead. I don't always like to feel them, but it happens. Energy and entity clearing, cleaning, astral projection, divination of all different kinds, energy medicine, psychometry, remote viewing, telepathy, dream precognition, and I am also an all-elemental white witch. Solitary, by the way, not coven.
I don't think that list is big enough. I think you actually need some more to.
Yes, I'm also an ordained minister. I'm a psychic specialist for a paranormal group in my area. I'm also what you would call an empath or a sensitive. And then there's a ton of other stuff we could add behind my name. So, yeah.
When I was only joking about the list to get bigger, you didn't have to take that as a challenge.
That was a little challenge accepted.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked about mediumistic skills, so I've had a couple of mediums on in the past, and I've always asked them, what do you feel and see when the spirits are contacting you? So how do you see them as full bodied? Do you see them as kind of the transparent ghost, so to speak, or how does that come across to you when you're doing your mediumistic skills?
Honestly, it kind of depends. I'm a little different than maybe your average person who does this or who came into it a little bit later. Because I'm so used to it, I've also become very utilitarian. I don't just look around and there's a whole bunch of dead people around me. They pretty much know, show up if you have a message or something needs to be conveyed. Otherwise, go do whatever you're doing in the astral plane. Like, don't be bored. There's lots of fun stuff to go do. So, I mean, I've had them just, it pops into my mind. I've had it where I've seen them outright, like I would see you. I've had them where I've just heard messages. I've had them where I just get images in my mind. Most of the time, I would say my information comes, I used to say I'm just a knower. And again, verbiage, right? There's so many new names for things, but it would be as if I'm just downloaded with information and I just suddenly know something.
Because I've spoken to, like I say, a few in the past, and one of them actually said that they can turn it on and off like a radio switch.
Good.
Can you do the same as well?
I can dim it. When it comes to this stuff, if it needs to come through and I'm just really not paying attention, it will present itself. I have somewhat of a rule because it's very easy, especially with someone like me with all of the information coming and all the things that I work on, where to get very overloaded or to run in circles with every little sign or synchronicity. So generally I have a rule that something has to hit or happen 3 times before I pay attention to it. I might want to scale that back because literally I just had 3 car accidents, not myself, but myself and 2 other people who reside at my homestead. All of us had the exact same accident here, there, and otherwhere. And so now I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe I don't need the 3 rule for that. But in most cases, just because a candle turns on its own, or just because something falls or moves on its own doesn't necessarily mean someone's trying to get my attention. Sometimes things just fall, or I live in earthquake country, it's an earthquake, or, someone moved, whatever. This is why I made that rule in the beginning, because I was also getting things that were coming in, and there's so many different things going on, especially right now. Just look at the news, that it gets a little overwhelming. So for me, I'm very utilitarian. Like, come to me if you have a very specific message or something needs to be done now, or if you are setting the precipice for things for me to work on or to come.
Okay, and are you one of these individuals where it doesn't matter if the person is in a video call like we are now, or is it better for you to be face to face with that individual?
It makes no difference. It happens even when I'm just like doing housework. Someone will pop into my mind and there's a message, and okay, go tell so and so whatever.
Cool. But one of so I kind of like, okay, I'm going to say that, and then it just goes straight out my head. What at the very beginning, you had a whole list of different skills and abilities, but one of the most ones that I'm really intrigued about, and I'd like to speak more into that right now, is astral projection. And like I said, I did do some housework, but you didn't say you were going to judge, so we'll see.
I am
So,
not judging.
so for those that don't know, what is astral projection?
So, astral projection and remote viewing are similar, but a little different. Remote viewing is where you can view something else, right? Place, time, whatever, in any time specificity. Oh, that word is gonna just bug me. Okay, you know what I'm saying. Specificity? I don't, whatever. So watch, I'm gonna wake up at midnight saying the word perfect. Nailed
And
it.
you're going to email me, aren't you, Lee? This is what that word was.
Exactly. This is the word that I meant. So remote viewing is a little more hands offish, right? It's viewing something very third party from any time period. Astral projection is I am energetically there, whether it's in your space or wherever I am. It saves me a ton of money on air travel and gas, by the way. Um, it's very eco-friendly. So,
Yeah.
but I also have the ability to roll through time wise. So, as I mentioned before, I am on a paranormal investigative team. So, there's been times where we've gone to a location and I'm like, well, the house isn't active now, even though it's presenting as active now. It was active whenever, and these people being here triggered it. Like their energy plus that old energy just caused a conflagration of things to occur. So I can also do that with people. So, for instance, let's say you had a dream and you're like, hey, I had this dream, JJ, and I want to tell you all about it, but I'm not able to remember much. I can actually tap into you with your permission, always with consent with me. That is the white magic part, just so you understand. It means always with consent and never against anybody's will. I'm able to tune into your mind, and then I can see through your eyes and I can actually scroll through time. So you could tell me, okay, I had this dream a week ago ish. Some people don't even know the date, they just know around. And I'm actually able to go like backwards and then see it through your eyes. And then we can talk about it.
Yeah. If it was about a week ago, I had serious jet lag after coming back from Fiji, and it was like I'm dead. I just want to go to bed, but I was pushing myself to stay up until a reasonable time, just for the record. So when
Totally
you
fine.
when you astral project per se, what does it feel like to you as like inside or as a person?
Never really been asked that before. I'm just there. It doesn't really, it's not like a big whoosh. It's not a dramatic anything. I mean, sometimes I have to make a dramatic entrance depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing.
I'm here.
Uh, I've worked with some people who, when they listen to this, they will laugh because sometimes I come in guns blazing and with very strong language. And I'm like, thankfully, human kids can't hear me right now. But, depending on what's there. I mean, when I say I'm an energy and entity cleaner and clearer, it's a nice way for me to say I do exorcisms and attachment removal, which are negative entities and energies. So, it's not always pretty, as you could tell. Like, I'm a very happy, joyful person. So I try to do it in the nicest way possible because no one needs fear. And sometimes all of the hoopla of the, let's put on Gregorian chants and dim the lights type of thing. For some people, they want that, but most people are scared out of their mind. They want every light on from here to Timbuktu, and they just want to be calm. So I'll crack jokes during it. I'm trying to be very happy and calm and like lighten up the situation. That being said, for me, I'm wherever I need to be and I'm experiencing it. Sometimes I get smells. But when I'm there, I'm experiencing whatever level I want to or need to. So, one place I went, immediately I was like, I hate to be rude, but like, what is that scent? Because it's unpleasant. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, haven't changed the litter box for a week, you know? And I'm like, well, we should probably do that now. Open a window.
The good,
Your
yeah,
nose blind, you know?
yeah.
So
The good news is we don't have a litter box, so you're okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, it's for me, it's not super dramatic. I'm sure there are some people who, when they do this, it is much more because they're not used to doing it. Again, I've been doing this my entire life. So,
I can
really
kind of envisage you doing it like the magicians on stage where there's a big flash, a big puff, and like, okay, I'm here.
flashbang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Glitter
So
everywhere.
exactly, yeah, like flowing your hair. So,
Exactly.
how do you have to initiate it? Do you have to meditate or anything beforehand, or can you just do it on a whim, so to speak?
On a whim.
You know what
I'm
I'm going to
very
ask you
fast. I'm
next.
very efficient.
You know what
So,
I'm going to. You know what I'm going to ask you next, don't you?
do you want me to pop on over?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, what I'd like you to do before I do that is I want you just to kind of put your feet on the ground. I want you to take stock of the temperature in the room, how you feel, how your home overall feels, because you're a bit of a sensitive, you know that. And just take a
I
moment.
don't know that. I don't know that, but we'll talk about that in a
We'll
minute.
definitely talk about that because you're
Yeah.
about to become a lot more sensitive once I pop over. So just kind of take stock. Okay, the room feels like this. I feel like that. Your head, etc. Okay. So I'm in your back corner, off camera, diagonal to you. Go ahead and look over there. It's okay.
Left or right?
I don't know. We're backwards on the camera, so that way.
That way. Okay.
Front corner to you.
Okay. This way.
Yeah. There you
Okay.
go. Okay. And I'm going to come a little closer. A lot closer now. It's not that big of a room. Sorry. All right. And do you feel any temperature change?
I do feel a slight kind of a slight coolness, but I kind of question that to say, well, is that what you're doing, or am I kind of getting like goosebumps because of what you're doing? So, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so with your consent and permission, I'm actually going to walk into your energy field. And this
Go
is
ahead.
going to be a little intense, okay? And I'm just going to ground you real quick. See, not scary. You're not freaking out, right?
It takes a lot to freak me out. I was in the emergency services for 25 years, so it's like,
Yeah. This is fine.
yeah.
Do you feel any different?
Like I say, I still feel cool, but again, yeah, exactly the same kind of thought process.
So some people tend to feel me as very warm. I bring a lot of heat. If you were here right now, my skin to the touch feels cold, but if you put your hand 2 inches from my skin, I'm like a heater. What's interesting though is others sense me as cold. It gets very cold when I show up. But what I've found out is you all are the type when a ghost or a dead person is around, you tend to get warm. So when it's alive, you get cold, and when it's dead, you get warm. You're like flipped from me. Because when the dead come around me, I get very cold. So basically, all I did, Lee, is I just grounded you really quick and stepped into your energy center. And then I'm kind of in front of you on the desk. Is there something you want me to explore in your house?
Yeah, so in that same location, I have the TV's kind of over there, but to the right, there's a shelf,
Okay.
like a bookcasey type thing. But there's something specific, if you can, in the middle of that shelf unit.
Is it the dinosaur thing? Am I on the wrong
There
wall?
are, well, there are dinosaurs over there.
Yeah, that's where
I'm
I'm
thinking, okay, so where the dinosaur are, what's on top of the shelf?
on the top, tippity top.
Yeah.
It's like a box. Hold on. It looks like a box, but with a frame. So I can't tell if it's either.
So there's actually two parts to the shelf in question. So I've got something on the back end of it and then something on the front end of it.
Is the front like framed and then the thing behind it is a box? Is that why I'm getting confused?
I would not say it's a frame as such, but what is there is on kind of like stanchions kind of thing. Or,
like on a stand?
Yeah, so I've got a shelf here, I've got a shelf here, and then I've got a shelf here. Just to put it to, so right on the very top, it's in kind of two halves, but also the shelf on the side. If you want to go there to make it easier.
Okay, so I'm not on the right shelf. The box and the frame thing.
The dinosaurs are over in that far corner. Yes.
Okay, so I went to the shelf on top of the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Okay, is that where the thing is that you're talking about, or the other shelf?
Correct. No, that's where that is. Yeah.
Okay. I don't really know what that is, so I'm gonna have to.
Can you tell me what color it is?
It's like a brown gray.
Yeah, it is a brown gray. So I will actually tell you what that is. Have you ever watched?
I don't know what it is.
Well, not everyone knows what it is, so that it was kind of like a little bit of a difficult thing. So if you've ever watched The Avengers,
the movie,
yes, yeah, the movie, yeah,
okay.
It's the Lego helicarrier with the 4 engines. It comes out the water. It's when Iron Man and the Hulk are all fighting, and it comes out the water and goes into space.
Is it made out of Legos?
Yeah.
Okay, Lee, I'm going to have to Google this because, honey, I have absolutely no clue what I was looking at. I was like, is it a rock? But it's not a rock. It's like a toy, but it's not. I don't know what that is.
There's a lot of Lego.
Yeah, you're going to have to put a picture of that on the screen for everyone, including me. So.
Okay. So
when this is released, y'all need to see what I was seeing, and then you'll understand why I have no clue how to.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to come over this side,
okay,
I've got another double bookcase.
Okay,
but there's something specific on the top shelf.
The flag?
There is a flag there, but something above the flag.
It's a triangle? That thing?
The flag does have a triangle on it, but forget about the flag. It actually spans both bookcases, and it's about yay big, about 2 to 3 foot across.
Oh, it's up at the tippity top.
Tippity top, yep.
Is that a bone?
No.
Okay. I got nothing, Lee. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is.
Okay, let me just quickly show you just for...
Oh, okay. Can you tell me next time to just rise to the ceiling? Looking up at that from my vantage point, it looked like a bone.
Okay.
Well, because it's white and it's long.
It's a big bone.
Sometimes, yeah. No, that's why I was like, this is a little... You're not supposed to have tusks.
Okay. So, one final little test.
Sure.
In front of me, right in front of my screen, like right here, I've got a speaker, a small bar speaker. On top of it, there is 5 items. Can you tell me one of them?
Coin.
There is a coin to the left, but that's not on the speaker.
Are you talking about the pink sticker thing?
There are stickers. But they're a bit kind of like... So I've got another book, loads of bookcases, I tell you. And the monitor is on the bookcase, and then the little speaker in front of the monitor, like just there.
Can you put your finger on the speaker? You don't have to show me it. Just thank you. Oh, okay. I hope I get this right. I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to call them toys. They're action figure. Isn't that the proper term?
I'm going to give you that one. And I do have... So they're actually Napoleonic figures for Lego, because I'm a big Lego fan, and I've got them across. But they're either side of the speaker, to be fair.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you that one.
Okay.
So I'll put my finger on the speaker one more time.
So I see a coin, a rock, the action figures. Is whatever you have warded?
There is something that has a word on it, yes.
No, warded, meaning like spiritually protected?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because I'm not seeing the speaker thing. Like it's like whatever you're pointing to, it's just a void there. I can see everything on either side, obviously, because I'm calling out the action figures and stuff.
Yeah, and like I say, just for the record, the other side, I've got action figures as well. I've made that tough for you tonight.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. What was it?
So I have this.
Is it pink?
Car. It's red. It's kind of like a Lamborghini.
Okay.
And then I have a little duck.
So the toys.
Wow. And then I have a little pig as well.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so that was all like gifts that people got me from one of the Comic Cons and stuff.
You have a lot of stuff in there, Lee. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit distracted in this room right now.
What are you trying to say?
Listen, from one pack rat to another, hun.
Okay.
You should see how many rocks and crystals I have behind me.
Let's make this. I know I keep putting you to the test, but yeah.
Well, actually, let me ask you something, because again,
okay.
I'm very utilitarian, so I'm not used to just random quizzical questions, which is fine. Listen, in doing this, the amount of furniture I've had to Google to describe what I'm talking about to people is insane. So I could be a furniture designer at this point. In your kitchen, okay? So from the bigger room, when you walk into the kitchen, on the left-hand side, third drawer down after the sink. So almost to the door outside.
Okay.
Okay. In the back of that, on the right-hand side, there's something that I'm being told you need to reacquaint yourself with and the memory thereof.
I'm not sure I've used that drawer for a long time. I'll have to go and have a look later, because otherwise it's going to be like a blank screen. And I'll be right back.
Well, can you pause the recording?
Yeah. Well, I probably could, but hey, Kelly, can you go to the third drawer down and tell me what's right at the back of the cupboard, please?
What?
The third drawer down.
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen. What's right at the very back?
On the right-hand side.
On the right-hand side. Very back. She's like, what? What are you talking about?
I'm sure she's delighted. Thank you.
So while you're doing that, I know you've already mentioned about the rules and limitations, but do you set other boundaries as well as like asking for permission and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, asking consent and permission, and then when I'm there, obviously. So it depends what I'm being asked to do, right? Some people are like, hey, can you just check out
1 second.
Okay.
There's a lot of utensils, but maybe that.
Okay, she says there's a lot of utensils in there.
On the back right-hand side of the drawer.
Back right-hand side of the drawer.
They're stacked this deep.
She says it's stacked this big with utensils.
It looks like a pie server, but it's not.
Is it like a pie server, Kelly?
But it's not.
No way.
Oh, she just said no way. I don't know if you heard her. Just 1 second. It might not be pie slice, pie server.
It looks like that, right?
There's also a silver one.
There's also a silver one there as well. The silver one.
So for you two, when you get done with this fun recording, reacquaint yourselves with when you got that. I'm sure you already know. And
I'm a man. Of course I don't.
She'll know. She will know. Reacquaint yourselves with that. Who gave it to you and why Spirit would want me to call that out to you specifically.
Okay. We will get on that as soon as we finish, because otherwise it's going to be a blank screen. Okay.
So in regards to your question, when I'm popping over for whatever reason it might be, I like, for instance, if someone wants like a personal cleaning or can you look at this or etc., I try to just keep my eyes, I try not to be nosy. Unless people say, please, like, go throughout the house and let me know. That's when I traipse around like I did in your kitchen, and I will go and find things that Spirit will say, this is important. There's a message behind this for you specifically.
Right.
Sometimes they're very inane things, like, a high server. But when you think about, okay, so-and-so gave that to me. Oh, we haven't talked to them in a very long time. We've been meaning to reach out. Maybe this is your impotence to do that in order to solidify that connection, and or maybe something's going to potentially happen with those people. They've been on your mind and you just haven't pulled the trigger and made the phone call or sent the email or the message, however we contact each other nowadays. So it doesn't always make sense at the time either. I've had situations where I've asked people, hey, you need to keep your eye on this, and nothing at the time makes any lick of sense. And then all of a sudden in 3 weeks, it makes perfect sense.
Right. We do have quite a specific shower curtain if you want to go and have a quick look.
The polka dotted one?
There's two. We have two shower curtains, one for the inside and one for the outside.
Lee, you're killing me right now.
but one of them is polka dot, so I'm going to give you that. Okay.
Which bathroom, Lee?
That way.
You didn't say I could go in your head, so it would be a lot easier if we did it that way. So.
Go in my head. I'm looking at it now.
All right.
I can see it from here. Very dark, but I can see it.
Unfortunately, I'm not that great with movies and stuff, but I think that's a scene. I want to say it's like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, but I don't necessarily know what that is.
You're so close. Think about another castle.
Harry Potter? There we go.
She's shaking her head now, going, no way. Okay. 100% I'm giving you that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can relax now. We can relax.
I'm like, I don't even know.
But just for the record, if you haven't seen Harry Potter, you need to start watching it.
Okay, I've been told this like 800 times now. I promise it's on the list.
Okay. 801. You have to watch it.
Roger that.
Yeah. So, are there any dangers to astral projection?
A lot.
Such as?
First things first, if I can give just a PSA warning to anyone who's interested in doing this work. Consent is key, okay? Open areas like parks or, it's a big reservation type area or preserve type of thing. I'm looking for words. That's fine. But if you're looking for something specific, just be aware that there are people and beings who can see you and sense you. So I made the mistake once of being nosy and wanting to find a Bigfoot because people always talk about it. I'm like, I don't know that much about it. Why not? And I happened upon a family of them, astrally, obviously, and was told very strongly, you are not wanted here. Do not come looking for us again and leave now. And I felt really bad because I felt like I just barged in on someone having family time and was like, that was rude. And I don't like being rude. So, number one, also, especially if it's another human, don't do weird things, please, people. Someone could be in the bathroom or in the shower. Yeah, or worse, right? Like you could pop in at a very inopportune time. So again, like consent is key. The other thing is there are people like myself and others, as well as, we'll say, larger institutions, for me to just frame that in a nice way without getting us taken away from YouTube, that know people can do this, and therefore have people also like me who can protect and ward against it. So I have my home and area warded very specifically. And I have warned people that I work with, please do not try to jump here. I understand that I'm a safe space, but only if I give you permission. And I had someone very lovingly, who was very energetic and excited, and who tried without my consent and hit my wards. Now, one bounced off and it was very unpleasant. The other one had the other unpleasant effects, which is I make it extremely unpleasant so that no one will cause harm to my place. I can tell you there were years ago strings of robberies in my neighborhood, and our house was never touched specifically. I don't think they would make it past the driveway. We'll put it that way. So I have some, and you're not going to die, but it's just going to be very uncomfortable, and you're going to have to do laundry a couple times. We'll put it that way.
So before we move on to the next subject, I've got one question. So if you decide to do it without consent, just hypothetically, and the location that you go into, if there's somebody there that has like mediumistic skills of some description, would they be able to sense you there as if they are like dealing with a spirit?
Sometimes it would feel, well, I mean, it also depends on that person's background and how they sense. Sometimes it's going to feel like a spirit. Sometimes it also could feel like, imagine if I just barged on into your home when you two were asleep. I'm an intruder. Whether you know that's a physical human person walking through the door and you can hear it, or an energy of a person, it's going to feel intrusive. And I don't know about you, but for me, if someone's intruding, I'm going to get very angry and nasty. So most of the time, I would suspect if it's like an average person, they're going to think it's a bad spirit or something, trying to attack them. I've had a situation where we were literally in the middle of nowhere. I had no clue GPS didn't even know where we were. I couldn't find the city name. We were just in the middle of nowhere, and I was freaking out that we were never going to get home, and the hills have eyes type of a movie situation. And so, Sixth Sense, I have that open and I'm scanning, trying to figure out where are we going in the right direction. And I see civilization way far in the distance. And suddenly I hear, "Close your eye, girl." And I'm like, oh, that was loud and in my head. And I keep looking, and it said, "Shut your third eye now. Do not look." And I'm like, okay. So I did. And as we rolled past, I realized, oh, we're by a certain government establishment facility. And they have people like me who are aware of prying eyes, who are giving warnings. So the nice thing is they knew in advance I didn't even know where I was. I didn't even know that was close to there. So they gave me a warning, shut it down, stop looking. I cannot imagine if it was just somebody untrained who knew no protections, who was trying to look at that, what those potential repercussions could be. I have heard horror stories. I have not experienced them, but I can tell you, I do know of one case in particular of someone who astral projected, went way too far, had no protections whatsoever, and they've lived out the rest of their years in a facility drooling and not being able to talk. Like, they're gone. It's separate from the human body. And knowing that one situation, that's why I'm more on the I'd rather urge caution, and also just don't be rude. Don't stick your nose into business you don't want to be involved in. And with this work, just remember, governments across the world, not just the United States or Canada or Britain, across the entire world have spent billions and trillions of dollars into programs studying people like myself. So you don't think they're not going to have a couple people of their own? I mean, there's wars within wars. There's not just the ground wars that we all hear about happening. So yes, I do advise caution.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And what we've been doing for the last, 42 minutes already brings us nicely on to a subject where if you were doing this back then, you would probably not be with us for much longer. And what I'm now talking about is the Salem Witch Trials, which I believe you've got a little bit of knowledge about. Just a little bit.
A lot.
Just a little bit, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I also have a personal familial connection. I am a direct descendant of one of the women who was hung in the Salem Witch Trials. It is an absolute tragedy, a travesty, and America's first government cover-up. So there's a lot. I know that I've spoken about this before on other platforms, but it really is near and dear to my heart for so many different reasons. Besides the family connection, which I didn't even know until years ago. I found out by watching the History Channel that I was a relation. I can remember being 12 years old, learning about this in school, and being so incensed that adults, especially Christian adults who were so pure, I mean, that's why they called them the Puritans, that, at the time, England and the Church of England was an absolute disgrace to them because it wasn't following the word of God, it was following the word of man. And so they came over here to this new world, which is extremely brutal conditions. Between the rocky soil and the weather being so different and nothing being easy. They had no electricity, no power tools, no AI help, everyone. No cell phones. If you made it over the ocean, you were lucky, right? Let alone to get here and then try to just live was very harsh. And the east coast of the United States, as you know, you're somewhat close on that part of Canada. It's not an easy terrain to navigate, especially back then when you had to build your shelter from scratch, etc.
Yeah.
So you already had this very tight-knit group of very hardened people just by the conditions that they were living in, and they were so dogmatic. So automatically, I put them at a higher bar of expectation for what they would buy into. To find out that they were taking the word of 9 and 12-year-olds and killing God-fearing adults. And then to look at the multi-layer behind it of it was actually these two brothers, 3 men, who really, it was a land grab. And then there's the potential that they did have a really rainy spring that year, and there was a potential of having ergot. So potentially they could have all been, microdosing LSD and seeing a little bit of stuff. And then the hysteria of these bored children comes along, and then they're hanging grown adults. And in all honesty, none of the people that were hung were witches at all, to my belief.
If you just let me interrupt for 1 second,
Sure.
This is actually closer to home, which I'm about to tell you, which is going to freak you out a little bit. So my hometown in England is Boston.
Oh.
The original Boston, not the fake one that's down the road. Back in the 1600s, prior to the Mayflower, not me personally, I wasn't around then. I now look it, but I wasn't quite around in the 1600s. They arrested people for their beliefs because it was against Henry VIII, I believe. We locked them up. They escaped. They went to Holland, and then a year later jumped on the Mayflower, sailed across the Atlantic to New England. So people that were on that boat are the people you're now talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, which is kind of like really, because people know about the Mayflower, but the group of people started in my hometown.
That's
in
awesome.
England. Yeah.
Well, we might be long lost cousins then. If you've got any blood relation from there.
I'll have a look on Ancestry afterwards. see if I can find where you are.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of particular named people that were quite prominent in the witch trials. Do you want to talk to us about a few of those, please?
Where to start? I mean, my direct ancestor, Elizabeth Howe, she basically, she was in her 50s when this happened. And the whole reason she ended up getting hung towards the end was because she actually spoke up and started yelling at the people and saying, why are you taking the word of a 12-year-old versus looking at the good deeds and realizing what's really happening here? And that's really what started happening. Is in the beginning, it was these children who were the kids of the two men who were very angry and trying to sue everyone because they were entitled and they thought that they were owed stuff. And their kids just conveniently started, saying, oh, these people are pinching us astrally, like what we would call astrally pinching us and sending us bad dreams. And then some of the men would say, oh, this woman is making me think lurid thoughts about her because she's a beautiful woman. Like, it's her fault that he's having naughty dreams about another woman. Exactly. Always blame them. Don't get me started. So I have to be like super calm to talk about this because it enrages me because unfortunately it's still happening. And that's part of the problem that I don't think a lot of people understand why I get so incensed and why I've tried to talk about this for the past year or two, because it's still happening. It's just happening in different ways. We are taking the words of whether they're children or people who we know are doing this in order for a power grab or control or name other grabs there. But they're making things up and they are deliberately getting people hurt or worse. And there are repercussions for our actions. And that's one of the biggest things that I like to talk about is we are responsible for our actions on this plane and on all the other planes. And so if you can do the hard work and work on yourself here and be mindful of what it is that you're doing when you're out in the world, you don't need to be a mean, nasty person to everyone. You also don't have to go up and hug everyone else too. Most people don't want to be hugged by strangers, just FYI. But if someone's crying and they need a hug and they're a stranger, could you be that person? That would be really nice if you could. So, the Salem, it happened in America. Unfortunately, it's also happened in Canada. You guys had some more recent ones, actually.
Yeah.
And in Europe, in Europe alone, women were slaughtered just for being. And most of the time, they were the village healer or they were the village elder where people would come to because they knew how to work with the land. They knew the plants. They knew things that would heal. They could help the women going through childbirth. They understood science. And, that's not allowed. Women can't know science. God, we could barely math and we were burned at the stake. Oh. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I went on a total tangent on there.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So, who was Tituba?
Tituba. Tituba she was actually what we would call now, she was a slave. So the original family of the children that started accusing everyone, they lived in Barbados prior to coming up to the East Coast. Because a lot of people forget that originally it was like Florida and the Caribbean that was mainly found, and that's where a lot of people from Europe would go first. And there were sugarcane fields. And so the family lived in Barbados, and they got Tituba when she was quite young. So she was still an island girl and still had family, but she worked for this family. And so when they moved to the East Coast, they brought her with them. I don't think it was willingly. Okay, let's just think about that. So, being an island girl, if you've ever been on an island, it can get a little boring, right? You're around the same people, it's very cloistered, but a lot of island lore is sitting around at dark and telling stories. And that's how a lot of information was relayed, especially from the older ways in different cultures. Everything was word of mouth and stories. So she grew up with all these fantastical stories. And as she gets moved over to this east coast of the America with the Puritans of all people, she would entertain the children with bedtime stories of fantastical things and creatures and imagination. These were puritanical people. They were not allowed to read, think, or imagine anything other than the Bible. That was it. So these kids were having the time of their life with Tituba, who was telling them fun stories. And then the neighbor kids would come for slumber parties and get to hear her stories too. So originally, these kids were accusing other people. Tituba was like third or fourth on the list. The first one that they went for I think it was Sarah Good. And when they went after her, it was because she was a single woman, the 7-year-old daughter who was poor, but she was also the one in town who would help the women who were pregnant. And so she knew a lot about childbirth, and she could pretty much tell in advance when a woman, either the pregnancy wasn't going to make it or there was going to be a problem with the child. And they went after her first. She also had a habit of, when no one was having a child, no one needed to pay her, she would walk around with her daughter from house to house of the rich people, and she would ask them for handouts of food, water, or could I come in and sit by the warm fire? And when they would say no, because that's what they did, she would publicly call them out for not being a proper Christian. You're not being kind. You're not sharing your food. I do all of this stuff for you, and you're not reciprocating. And she would yell it to the town, because this is puritanical life. Anyone did anything against you, you yelled it out to everyone. Very interesting. It's like social media now. So, yeah. So basically, they accused her first to throw everyone off the scent. Oh, well, she doesn't own anything, so this isn't a power grab, this isn't a land grab, but she's a witch, because she was making people feel awkward. Well, that left her 7-year-old daughter to wander around town with no home, no mom, on her own. So around the third person they decide to accuse is Tituba, because people started saying, hey, there's something weird here. You guys are the family who's suing everyone for everything, and now you're accusing people. So then they accused their own Tituba. Unfortunately, she goes into jail. Well, they still have the 7-year-old wandering around. So about 5 people later, they accused the little 7-year-old, 8-year-old girl of witchcraft, because it was an easy way to just get her off the street. And this jail was horrendous. It was mud floor. You're in a concrete, basically, building, and you're shackled to the wall, and you're not able to go more than 3 feet. So you're really not able to stand up. You're basically going to the restroom where you're sitting. Could you imagine being in a room with 16 other people who are doing all that? Yeah. And there were 19 people in total that were killed as a result of this.
That's crazy. And I know you kind of touched on it at the very beginning of talking about this, but they used spectral evidence as a form of proof. Mm-hmm. Can you take that into a little bit more detail for me?
Yeah, so spectral evidence was basically the kids saying, someone's pinching me. You could not see anything happening. Or the kids would fall down and have a tantrum or a fit, which is basically just they're sitting there thrashing around on the ground. And, there's been a lot of people who speculated over the years that, this could have been that one person actually had a seizure and the other kids mimicked it. Perhaps. But why were they all able to stop at the same time? Honestly, I think it was fits of imagination. One would start it, the rest would follow, and they would do what they were told by their parents.
And nowadays, that's called pseudo-fitting. Like, as a paramedic, it's like, okay, you can stop now, get up. And they kind of like, look, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one thing that also I have a big question for, it wasn't just Salem in the US, there was many other locations. So what makes Salem stand out above the rest?
Salem stands out above the rest because it really was America. What is America now? It really was America's first government cover-up. So Salem, where this all happened, wasn't Salem proper. It was actually a village township outside of the city of Salem. So the city of Salem is actually by the port, right, where all the boats come in. These people decided to go, over there. And so they're kind of remote. They're not close to anyone. And so really they just kind of govern themselves. So big mayor comes over, does a visit, collects his taxes, and they tell him, hey, we've got an issue. We've got potential witchcraft. And he had already heard about this from Europe. So he says, okay, well, do what you guys need to do and handle business. They took it way too far. People would go and would take notes in court every day in their journals of what was being said, what the evidence presented was, everything. Everyone in town was documenting this. People were suing back then. We think California is a sue-happy state now. You should have seen back then. Everyone sued everybody. So what these people were doing is they were logging evidence of all these proceedings and how awful they were and how the whole system was rigged. So when the mayor comes back 6-7 months later, it's so out of control. All of these adults have been murdered at this point. And he's like, whoa. And people in the town are telling him, we have notes. We're going to sue you and the crown for allowing this to happen. And he got scared. So what he did is he ordered his troops to go around to every house and collect the journals of all of the court transcripts and destroy them. Luckily, people hid them and would give up one, but would keep the others. And that's why we have actual record of what happened today. And he was thinking, okay, well, we burned the evidence, like, we're good. Well, then we had all the dead people to contend with. And then, because these kids at this point were so out of control, they accused the mayor's wife of being a witch. And that's when he shut the whole thing down. And that's when he pointed the finger and said, this ends now. Like, we're done. And stopped the entire thing. It literally took his own wife being accused by these children in order for him to stop it.
Wow. And that actually does kind of bring me to the next question, which you just answered. Like, yeah, how did the trials eventually come to an end? Which you've just answered. So I'm going to quickly flick to the next one. So when it finally came to an end and this mayor had had enough, there must have been some people that were still imprisoned, per se. Were they just released and allowed to go on their merry way, or did something actually happen to them?
Yes, they were all released.
And just like, okay, sorry.
I mean, to be honest, there weren't many that were left alive. So
one person that does strike a chord with me, and is a typical person that I could get on really well with, is Giles Corey. Yes. For being such a stubborn individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let you tell the story.
So Giles Corey is the one who was the one odd death. So everyone else was hung. Giles Corey, instead of hanging him, they wanted him to confess and bring others down with him. Because that's the only way you could get free, is if you confessed and then accused 3 other people. So yeah, real fun. Makes total sense. So with Giles Corey, they wanted him to confess, and they basically made him lay down and put huge stones on him. And he refused to confess. And basically his last words were, put another one on.
Yeah. Is it is it true? Because I know I've seen it or read it somewhere that they actually put his cause of death as suicide because he could have offered up that information at any time and he could have stopped it. So because he didn't, they actually deemed it suicide.
I'm not sure what they deemed it back then. Again, suicide would have made sure that none of these people were buried in the normal graveyard with the normal Christian rites. And this is why some of the graves had to be moved after the fact and officially forgiven by the government years later. So I'm not 100% sure of that specific aspect. That being said, that would definitely fall in line with some of this. But again, you have to look at it from a justice perspective. Does it make sense that the only way you can be deemed free to go is to admit that you're guilty of something you didn't do? And then on top of that, you have to then give up 3 other people's names of something that you don't even know if they're guilty of. Otherwise, you're automatically sentenced to death. So everyone that died because they said, I'm not a witch, I'm not doing witchcraft. And this is why today we have our legal justice system the way that it is, where you are considered innocent until proven guilty. Which we still have that in America, in case. Let's stamp this in order to make sure that remains. But
don't go there. Yeah, because it's actually quite interesting because, like I said at the very beginning, the fact that you call yourself a white witch, you could have been one of those people back in the day. And now in this day and age, now we've got all these mediums and psychics and paranormal investigators. A lot of those people, including myself probably because I'm from England, would be tarred with the same brush because they're actually doing stuff that other people don't agree with. And I always find it fascinating when you get people that use an obulus or a spirit box and they get the word demon and they automatically think, oh my God, it's a malevolent spirit. They're going to come and get me. But I like to kind of turn the table a little bit and go, well, how do you know they're not calling you a demon for using this technology?
Yes.
And people always like to use the D word, always like to assume it's malevolent. Stop rolling your eyes, JJ.
Sorry.
Stop
I'm
rolling
just...
your eyes.
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like people are so blinkered into
myopic. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of like no, just stop talking. You're making it worse. And it's like that's why we kind of like go into investigations with an open mind, and we will check things out that have a rational nature before we even look at anything. So if we get the word demon, we don't immediately think, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to burn in hell and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, well, who's calling who a demon?
First of all, thank you for doing that. If you want to annoy me really, really quickly, you could just tell me that everything's a ghost or a demon. This is why I'm not able to watch a lot of the paranormal shows that are on TV. I get so incensed, I just start screaming at the TV and then I have to turn it off or I'll break it. It's actually how I met my paranormal partner, because I was watching one of those and was just incensed. And I said, that's it. I've got to join one of these to straighten somebody out, and ended up calling him randomly. And we've been very good friends, family ever since. I'm very, very grateful. I have a wonderful partner who, like you, feels the same way. Not everything is that easy to put into a category box.
I know that I say it on a lot of podcasts because I want to get it out there that this could be happening rather than something being malevolent. But people always say, I've been scratched. It must be a malevolent spirit. So I can't. I'm talking. Shush.
I'm sorry.
So I kind of like to flip the coin and go, well, who says it's malevolent? Just because you've got a scratch does not mean it's a bad spirit. Because if I'm going to call you and one of us is not of this earth, you're not going to hear me. Well, you probably would, but I would probably not hear you if the table was turned. So if I call you and you don't answer, I'm going to call louder. And if that still doesn't work, I'm then going to reach out and physically tap you somewhere. And I kind of like to think that spiritual connection could be what's causing a scratch. Not that it's malevolent, the fact that it's a spirit trying to get your attention by giving you a tap, just to say, I'm here. And a lot of people need to understand that everything's not bad. There are some things that are bad, but not everything is bad. So just because you've got a scratch doesn't mean that it's a demon or you're going to get like an attachment for the rest of your days.
No, and I think we all need to broaden our thinking a little bit more. Not everything's human that's on the other side. Most of what we coexist with that we don't see is not human or human-like. So in your example, something is trying to communicate and it reaches out and it has claws or it has long nails. I have a bird. My bird scratches me all the time. She doesn't mean to. She's trying to let me know. So, and that might freak some people out more than it gives solace to, but honestly, like, buck up, kiddo, because it's coming. The veil's pretty much gone.
Exactly. And just for the record, is this bird a living bird or a spiritual bird?
Yes, he's living.
I just wanted to put that. Yeah. So I just had to get that one out there. But it's weird. Like back in November, I helped somebody set up for a public investigation, and I literally got touched for the first time, and I was so over the moon about it. And I shouted from the rooftops. I was in a jail. And he's given me a guided tour and I got this camera. And I literally got a stroke down the side of the face. And I thought, that was so cool. But then I automatically got my, let's be logical about this. So I immediately scanned the room. Decorators boards, paint on the floor, whitewashed walls. So I knew straight away that there's a pretty good chance that this was a sterile room because it's been redecorated. And the chances of there being spiders or cobwebs are very minimal because you could still smell the paint in the air. It had been worked on that day. So, yeah, it takes time for spiders to do. So I could pretty much rule that out straight away. And a few months later, when we went back to do an investigation, we had a medium with us. And I did not tell her about what happened in this room. And I said to her, can you sense anything about this room? And she went, oh, yeah, there's a man there just standing there looking at us. And I thought, is it the same person that stroked my face? And you'd like to think yes, but you don't necessarily know it's the same individual. So that was really interesting for me. And I love digging deep into these kind of things to try to, one, put a logical explanation to it, which sometimes you can't, but then also for these non-believers to put it into such a way that it makes sense to them and it's not just complete BS and stuff like that.
I think ruling out anything physical is extremely important. It's part of my to-do list. A lot of people would think someone like me is immediately going to go to, it's something spiritual. I probably debunked more things than people have realized. And the reason for that is because a lot of times it's just something physical going on. A curtain is blowing in the wind because someone left it open a crack and there's wind outside. Or, something moved because the house is uneven, or etc. Right? You know all the reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with you were in a jail. You got a tender caress on the face versus being slapped or, clawed or something else. I've heard horror stories of that, by the way. So that was nice.
Yeah.
And I also think that the skeptics, if you will, and I'm talking about the hardcore skeptics, the ones that even if you give them all the evidence in the world, they're still not going to believe.
Yeah.
I think that really comes from their own fear. And that's their own thing to deal with. That's not a me job, right? I'm not here to babysit. Like, you'll get there when you get there. That's fine. But I really do feel and know, as my warning, the veil is pretty much gone. Like, we have peep throughs happening more than anyone realizes. We are seeing into different dimensions. They're seeing us. We're interacting with each other. It's happening more and more and more to people who've never had anything happen to them ever. They're now having experiences, and they're experiences that they're not able to replicate. They're not able to duplicate. No physical thing makes sense. It was their own experience, and that gets them to have a spiritual awakening, whether it's super fast, which can get a little hairy when it's too fast sometimes because there's spiritual psychosis. A lot of people don't know that. There's religious psychosis as well. We just had a great example of that with this whole rapture business happening online. That was interesting. So,
Oh, yeah.
So, and on that note, if anyone did believe in the rapture was coming, or if you heard about it and was that on that side of TikTok, like I mistakenly somehow got on, I was always raised with the notion of it is actually an honor if you are left behind, because that means that you have an important job to do on behalf of spirit and source. And that is when you're helping other people. The people who get to be just up and taken away, that's the easy route. I don't know about you, but like I'm here to do hard work and to help. So for me, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Depending on the days, some days I'm like, could we abduct me for a couple days because it would be a vacation? Like, that's just me being dramatic and stressed out, right? I need a nap and then I'll be fine. But honestly, like the true me and my true heart is I do want to help other people. And I really, really feel that there are going to be less and less skeptics that we're all going to be running into. And hopefully some of them will be privately listening to shows like yours and others where they can start hearing, hey, there are safe places for me to explore these beliefs. And not everything is so scary. I get it. Fear sells, right? Sensationalism sells. This is why I'm not a lot of razzle dazzle. Like, look at me. I'm a pretty normal person. I don't wear hippie skirts. I don't have 84 crystals hanging off of me. Like I'm pretty average and normal. And I am extremely blessed that I live not only in a country, but also a state that I can walk down the street wearing a shirt that says I'm a witch and no one looks at me twice. They think it's cute and most people ask me questions. I'm blessed for that. There was a time and there are still places in this world where people cannot. People don't even know that currently right now, 2025, there are countries that are having active witch killings and witch hunts. And if you guys thought Salem and what happened back in Europe was bad, I don't want to tell you the horror stories of what's happening now. It's horrific. So I wear those things with pride. I say that word with pride and also to try to show people we're not scary.
Yeah.
I'm also an ordained minister. I was raised in a metaphysical Christian household. If you want to go toe to toe with me about the Bible, I'm happy to. As long as you are up for having a conversation and listening, because in order to understand the Bible, you also have to understand history, right? And I think that's the part that gets missed a lot.
Exactly.
So, I just want to create a space in a world where people are kinder to each other. Literally, I have t-shirts made that says kindness will never be canceled. And I made these specifically, not only just because cancel culture, but also because people being kind is genuine. And that is the part about humanity that really is wonderful. Spirits are all around us constantly. some of them really are spirits, and some of them are other things that we would call a spirit because we don't know what else to name it. And I have a lot of those, trust me. I'm like, I don't know what you are, but hi. So be kind. I mean, sometimes we're walking into their space, whether it's a garden or, a preserve or a building that's been uninhabited. You're in their territory. Would you like someone waking you up at 3 a.m. screaming at you that you need to put on a performance for them? I personally would be very annoyed.
And if you do that tonight, I'm going to walk to California and I'm going to come and kick your butt.
Well, then you're going to have to research that the pie cutter thingy for me. So,
JJ, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we've had so much fun. I would love to invite you back for another episode in the future, because I think we've got so much more to talk about. All the stuff that we haven't mentioned tonight. But I'd like to finally finish with what's next on the agenda for JJ.
Oh, God. I'm a busy little bee. I am doing classes. I'm doing physical classes. Normally I was doing them on Zoom. There is an absolutely wonderful sea salt therapy location near me who has invited me to do classes there. I talk a lot about salt and the positive aspects of salt, especially with spiritual protection and clearing. So it's extremely exciting. I'm going to be doing physical in-person classes. I don't do a lot of in-person stuff, so this is fun. Lots of interviews. I'm going to be on TV in a couple months as well. So I'm truly, truly blessed in all aspects, all these wonderful people like you that I get to meet. I get to meet people from all over the world. I get to astral travel all over. It's kind of like a 20-minute vacation for me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Weather's much better than mine, by the way. A little more humid, but so overall, I'm a happy camper and just trying to remain healthy as we all are. Just to have a really fun holiday season.
That's it. And just for the record, I do work for those people that check your passports. So next time you do it, I'll be asking some questions. JJ, until next time, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've had so much fun. You freaked the wife out on more than one occasion tonight, which I think is really funny. She's like, "Rrr." But again, thank you for your time, and I can't wait to speak to you again.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Lee.
rest of the day. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.